Right now, organizations are rushing to integrate AI agents, large language models, and data analytics tools to maintain their competitive edge. The deployment of this technology is expanding at an extraordinary rate across the enterprise landscape. If you worked in enterprise technology in the early 1990s, you saw a very similar rush. Companies were migrating en masse to a newly emerging concept called distributed information software. Early programs like Lotus Notes required a massive internal shift for corporations. Professionals who stepped up to learn the specific deployment and architecture of how that distributed information was shared saw their careers accelerate rapidly. The lesson from that era is that during a major technological rollout, technical knowledge is only half the requirement. The higher order skill is mastering the rules and the architecture that govern how that technology is actually distributed. Today's push for artificial intelligence is happening under much stricter conditions. Companies are deploying these models while navigating a dense web of emerging global laws and geopolitical export controls. Two specific frameworks are currently dictating this landscape. First is the EU AI Act, which regulates AI systems based on their potential risk to society. Second is the NIST AI Risk Management Framework, a set of guidelines designed to help organizations improve AI trustworthiness. Organizations are often concerned about accidentally violating these complex rules, but the demand for professionals who understand AI compliance currently outpaces the supply. This shortage leaves many enterprise boards in a difficult position. The drive to innovate and push new AI tools into production has outrun the internal capability to safely and legally manage the resulting operational risk. The root of this compliance problem is a divided workforce. The tech industry currently relies on two distinct professions that rarely speak the same language. On one side are the developers and engineers. They know how to train models, manage API integrations, and write the underlying code, but they typically lack the legal literacy to interpret international law and implement necessary regulatory guardrails. On the other side are the lawyers and policymakers. They write the compliance frameworks and understand legal risk, but they rarely have the technical expertise to translate those policies into actual enterprise application development. Coding alone cannot ensure legal safety, and legal analysis alone cannot write the code. Companies have an immediate need for personnel who can bridge these two disciplines. To address this gap, the International Association of Privacy Professionals launched the Artificial Intelligence Governance Professional, or AIGP, certification. This credential is designed to help professionals map technical systems directly to legal requirements. The curriculum bridges building mechanics with regulations. First, technical understanding teaches the AI lifecycle, data drift, and algorithmic bias. Second, framework literacy maps global regulations, GDPR, and copyright rules. Finally, operational capability connects them through governing data, assessing risks, and monitoring deployment. Earning the AIGP demonstrates the practical ability to turn separate technical and legal requirements into a unified architecture for an organization. As organizations prioritize risk mitigation, the roles with the most influence are shifting towards those who can navigate both technical and regulatory constraints. As artificial intelligence tools become more accessible, basic technical abilities like writing Python scripts or deploying machine learning models will likely become standard, commoditized skills. Hiring managers are seeking a much rarer capability: the operational experience to deploy those models globally without triggering export controls or incurring regulatory fines. Mastering AI governance can determine whether an organization successfully scales its technology across international borders or faces significant legal and operational setbacks. Understanding these international frameworks is becoming a practical requirement for shaping enterprise strategy. The rules dictating how data flows and how models are governed are now shaped in global geopolitical arenas. The trajectory mirrors the adoption of distributed software 30 years ago. Those who take the initiative now to understand the business processes behind the technology will be better positioned as the landscape matures. We are currently in a similar window of opportunity. Professionals who master the architecture of AI governance now can establish their expertise before the full weight of these regulations is enforced globally. In a regulated digital era, integrating operational capability with compliance is the practical path to building and deploying sustainable AI.